Hi, welcome to my channel, Yaya's Heart Tarot. Today we're going to be doing 3 readings to connect with departed loved ones. I will show you each of the groups. They're each attached to an oracle card, which we will look at the end of each of the readings, but we have a crystal with each of the piles, so you can choose which pile calls to you, whether that's because of the crystal or just a feeling, or if you generally choose a particular number. However you choose is fine. However you choose is exactly right. So I'll go over each one of the crystals for you, and then in the description there will be a timestamp linked to each group, group 1, group 2, and group 3. So to go directly to your reading, all you need to do is to go to the description area and click on your timestamp. That'll take you directly to your reading. These are general readings. Everything may not resonate for you. If nothing resonates for you, then it's probably not your reading. You might want to pick a different reading, or may just need to come back at a different time. But hopefully someone will come through for you. If you have any comments, I would love to hear them. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would be grateful. And also, if you like your reading, click the like button. That would be helpful for me to get some visibility so everybody can find my channel, which is my hope, that I can provide connection for anybody who needs it. So I'm grateful that you're here. Well, let's go over the groups. The first group is Smoky Quartz. This is a Smoky Quartz point. It's very, very dark, but it does have some transparency to it. That's group number 1, the Smoky Quartz. Group number 2 is the Labradorite. If I can, there we go, there's the flash. It's got predominantly blue flash on this Labradorite, so that's group number 2, Labradorite. And group number 3 is a copper rutilated clear quartz point. Hopefully you can see some of that copper rutilation on there, I should say. It is a pretty amazing point, and of course it never shows up as well on camera as it does in person, but hopefully you can get some idea of the rutilation in there, because it's truly amazing. So group 1, Smoky Quartz, group 2, Labradorite, and group 3 is a copper rutilated clear quartz. So take whatever time you need to choose the group that calls to you. If you need to pause the video, that's absolutely fine. When you're ready, click on your timestamp and I will see you at your reading. Hi group 1, this is your reading. The Smoky Quartz point. The first question that we're going to ask Spirit today is who's coming through for you? Spirit, who is coming through for group 1? Who is coming through for group 1 today? One more shuffle. Okay, Spirit, who is coming through for group 1 today? Okay, group 1. We got the 3 of Wands and we got the 9 of Wands. The individual that's coming through for you was a fiery, passionate individual. They were someone who always had kind of a big vision. They always had some great idea that they were pursuing. They just were always fired up about everything in their life. Unfortunately, they were someone who either they burned themselves out, that they went after too many big things and couldn't ever accomplish anything or complete everything, or they burned out the people around them. They were just too hyper. They were too, they were just too busy all the time. They were just too big for everybody around them. So That's who's showing up for you. This individual who is very fiery, very passionate, very creative, very inspired, but that they either were just too much for everybody around them, or they eventually became too much even for themselves. So that's who's coming through for you, group one. So how was this individual connected to group one? Spirit, how were you connected to group one, please? How were you connected to group one? Okay. So we got the Three of Pentacles, we got the Knight of Swords, we got the Strength card, and we got the Moon. So initially my thought is that, at least for some of you, this is someone that you worked with, or someone that you, I mean, it might not be like someone that you worked with in a job. It could be like a grandparent or someone who, whenever you got together, you like worked on cars together, or you worked on projects together. You know, if it was a grandmother, although I'm getting a more of a father vibe, but not necessarily. It could be either. So, you know, if it was a grandmother type, she may be a quilter and you worked on quilts together. Or, you know, she may have been someone who was always baking, and when you got together, you baked things together. But this was an individual who, when you got together, you actually physically did things together. Or it could be, like I said, someone that you worked with at a job. But it was someone that you felt like you didn't know a lot about them. I mean, and that may be because when you were together, you were always doing. You didn't do a lot of talking. They were sort of a very self-contained individual. You know, they were always happy to help. They were always happy to show you how to do something, but they didn't really talk about themselves very much. And so sometimes it was difficult to figure out exactly who they were. So that's who this person is, how they were connected to you. They were someone that you worked with, or did projects together, or, you know, just did like physical, earthy kind of things when you were with them. So Spirit, what was the most important thing about your connection with group one? Spirit, what was the most important thing about your connection with group one? Group one, what was the most important thing about the connection between the two of you? That's what we'd like to know from your departed loved one. What was the most important thing about your connection together? This might be what was most important to you. This might be what was important to them. This might be something that you both knew was important to both of you. Okay, so we got the Nine of Pentacles, we got the Ten of Wands, and we got the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, what was important about this relationship was that it was really stable. It was really solid. It was something that provided you, group one, with a sense of always being backed up, always having a place that you could go if things were getting tough. If you felt like your world was falling apart, if you felt like you were just frustrated about something, whatever it was, if there was some emotional or predominantly if there was some emotional turmoil in your life, or if there was some even like a monetary issue that caused you some emotional turmoil, you always knew that you could go to this person. They always made you feel solid. They didn't necessarily solve your problems, but they always grounded you. They always helped you just feel better about things. You know, they always made you feel like you could handle whatever it was. They gave you maybe some suggestions, but I don't even feel like that was predominantly what they did. I feel like predominantly what they did was they just kind of settled you down and made you realize that maybe it wasn't as bad as it looked, or maybe it wasn't as frustrating as it felt, or maybe, you know, there was part of the picture that you were sort of blocking out, and so they let you see, they helped you to see how stable your situation really is, even with this, whatever it was that was causing you turmoil. Even if it wasn't specifically about that situation that they helped you see something, what they did help you see is that underneath that you had a very stable base. You had good people behind you. You had a place to live, that sort of thing. So that's what was important to you about this relationship with them. And it was important for them too, because they wanted you always to feel like you were stable and secure, and they wanted you to feel safe. And they were glad they could provide that for you. So, Spirit, is there anything that you could change about, that you would have changed about your relationship with Group 1, or that you would like to emphasize to them? Anything that you would have liked to have changed, or that you would like to emphasize to them? Yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot of other cards. Okay, here we go. Okay. So we got the Five of Swords and we got the Lover's card. So what they would have liked to have changed is they would have liked to have shared more of themselves with you. They wished that they could have shared more of themselves with you. I feel like I'm getting a feeling that there was maybe some trauma in their past that they didn't want to burden you with. They they it was something that they had kind of put behind them, that they had walked away from, and they didn't really want to go back and revisit it. But they wished that they could have, they felt like you wanted to have a deeper connection with them. They felt like that would have been important to you, and they wished that they could have shared more of themselves with you, but it just really wasn't something that they could. It just wasn't something that they were even able to bring up. It was something that was hard for them to put behind them. It was something that they worked really hard to just forget, suppress, not have to revisit again, because it was something that was really hard for them, and they just didn't want to. They didn't want to taint their own life dwelling on whatever this was, and they certainly didn't want to taint you by putting these, whatever this trauma was. They didn't want you to have to think about it. They didn't want you to have to feel bad about it for them. They didn't want you to even have to process whatever this was. They didn't want you to have the pictures in your head, maybe. But they wished that they could have shared more of themselves with you. They wished that they could have been more open. But it just wasn't really something that they were just kind of closed off because of this situation that happened in their past. But they do want you to know that they very, very much loved you, and they want to make sure, they want to emphasize that even though they didn't tell you a lot about themselves, it wasn't because they didn't want you to get to know them. It was just because they didn't want you to have to deal with whatever this hard thing was that they had to deal with in their life. So, any final message that you would like to give Group 1, Spirit? Is there any final message that you would like to provide to your loved one? Okay, we got the Three of Cups, we got the Three of Swords, we got the Six of Cups, and the Magician. Okay, so the message that they want to provide you is that no matter what happens in your life that's difficult, no matter what skeletons there might be in your closet, no matter what you go through, um, no matter what heartache you live through in your life, you can turn it around, and make your life whatever you want it to be. Um, they want you to know that trauma that's happened in your past, or things that come up in your life that are hard, heartache that happens to you in your life, it's all something that you can change. You can turn it around. I mean, you can go from this heartache to the flowers that are blooming in these cups here. So, the magician, the manifester that you have within you is able to take any of the elements. So, if this is sadness, if it's emotion, you can look deeply into that emotion and see what it's teaching you. If it's the way you use your words. If you've stumbled and said something that you didn't mean to say, or you feel like you can't say things as well as you'd like to, again, you can look deeply into yourself, and you can do things to learn more skills, to understand what has happened in your past, and rather than just dwell on those and let those become things that you regret, they want you to actually take the time and take the effort to transmute those things, to learn from them, to use those as a springboard to reach a better place, rather than just beat yourself up over what you've done in the past or what's happened to you in the past. They also want you to know that it's really important that you reach out to other people when you're stuck. Um, Again, if there's been some heartache in your life, they don't want you to close down because of that. They don't want you to shut off your connection with other people. They want you to really, really keep that open, because that community, that sense of celebration, that sense of belonging, that sense of love from other people is really, really important. And that's always going to be the thing that's going to help you if you get stuck in this energy, if you get stuck in this energy of bad things that have happened to you or things that you regret. Sometimes it's really hard to get your mind out of that place. And so they want you to remember that you have the capability to transmute this, but if you do find yourself getting stuck and you're having a hard time even realizing maybe that you're stuck, just reach out to other people, and not necessarily reach out to them and say, hey, I'm stuck with this, I've had this bad thing happen to me, help me fix it, but just be with other people. Because even if you're not specifically, a lot of us don't like to burden other people with our issues, with our problems, with our sadness, although true friends will listen to you and be glad that you've opened up to them. So remember that as well. But something that is also really good to remember is that even if you're not specifically saying, hey, I've had this happen to me, I need help figuring it out, just being amongst people who love you in an air of a lighter air, enjoying each other's company, that can help to sort of transmute things on their own to begin the process of feeling better. And once you begin that process of feeling better, the things that you can't see beyond this hurt begin to sort of wind their way in. They begin to sort of soften the difficulties that we've had. They begin to soften the walls that we've built around, I need to suffer about this, or I am suffering about this. And they open up space so that we can see some of the light. So your loved one wants you to remember that you have the capability to change any of this anything that's happened to you in your life that's been difficult. Drawing upon your capability to change it yourself, drawing upon what you've learned from these situations, and then also staying connected to people who love you, because just that connection will help you to move through whatever it is that is making life difficult for you. This loved one really loves you, and they really want you to have the support. And from the reading, we know that they were the ones, or they were at least someone in your life who provided you this sense of comfort and this sense of support. And when you got to a place where you just needed to go and vent, or you needed someone to give you a hug, that was this person. And now that this person's no longer here, they don't want you to get stuck in the energy of not having anyone to go to, not being able to get out of that frustration or depression or grief, whatever it is that is upsetting you, whatever it is that's hard in your life. They don't want you to get stuck there, so they're giving you some more tools to get past that, because they're still here with you, but you may not be able to feel them or hear them the way that you used to. So they want to give you some more 3D, real world, here and now tangible tools that you can also use, because it's really important to them that you feel supported and that you feel loved. So let's take a look at the oracle card that we pulled ahead of time. The card that we got is Ocean, Ebb and Flow. Ocean, Ebb and Flow. Let's take a look at the book and see what the bigger message of that is. Okay, the ebb and flow of life is never more clearly represented than in the ocean's movements. The tides of these great bodies of water rise and fall in regular rhythms, and the waves continue to roll to the shores in endless and varied patterns, just as they have been doing for millions of years and will continue to do so for millions more. These tides and waves maintain a relative predictability unless other unforeseeable forces of nature intervene, which have been known to happen. Hurricanes and earthquakes, for instance, can have a dramatic effect on the characteristics of both the tides and the waves. The oceans cover 70% of the earth, and the human body averages a composition of 70% water. The dynamic gravitational interaction of the sun and the moon that moves these massive bodies of water and creates the shifting tides also affects our human bodies in ways that we respond to instinctually, often having a great deal more influence over our moods and emotional states than we're aware of. An important aspect in the art of living is to move with the ebb and flow of your emotions, joining their fluidity but not being captured by it. It is also not necessary to become obsessed with any particular fluctuation in mood or feeling. They are simply emotions, often activated in ways that are completely beyond your understanding. When you neither minimize nor exaggerate the intensity and importance of your emotions, you then have a greater sense of when and how to express them. You have been fighting the ebb and flow of your own feelings, denying your hurt, anger, or sorrow by either attaching yourself to one or the other and nurturing it as if it were a nursing child, or else smoothing over your feelings with more practiced responses that deny and hide what is going on beneath the surface of your expression. When you attempt to constrict yourself from experiencing your emotions, it is much like trying to stem the tides that grow even more forceful with every attempt humans make to control them. Allow yourself to swim with these variations rather than resisting them. I feel like this is the same message that your loved one was giving you here. Allow yourself to transmute your emotions, to flow with them, to understand that there will be ebbs and flows, and to not get caught up in, the particular emotion of what's hard in your life. So I hope this reading was helpful to you. I appreciate your being here, and I will see you next time around. Thank you. Hi, Group 2. This is your reading, the Labradorite reading. The first answer, the first message that we would like to get is who is coming through for you. Spirit, who's coming through for Group 2, please? Who is coming through for Group 2? Okay, Group 2. We got the 3 of Swords, we got the Star, and we got the 10 of Swords. This is an individual who, this is someone who was sort of trapped in their own thoughts, and they lived most of their life believing that nothing good would ever happen for them. Their dreams would never come true. This may have been an individual who spent a lot of their life in depression. This is just a very, very sad energy. Very, very sad. But this was an individual who was very, very nurturing. Even though this individual was so sad through their whole life, and I don't know if that was because of some trauma that they lived through when they were younger, or if this was just kind of their general demeanor. I feel like there was some trauma. But even though they felt, I get this sense of hopeless. I keep hearing hopeless. Even though they felt hopeless much of their life, they were one of the most caring individuals that there ever was. This may have been, I'm getting a picture of an individual who may have had some addiction problems. But even so, even though they neglected their own health, they did things that were not good for them. Um, in fact, they lived in an energy that really was not good for them. Even so, they were one of the kindest individuals that you've ever known. They cared so deeply about everyone else, but they didn't really care about themselves. They just had this air of hopelessness about them. So that's who's coming through. Such a sad individual. I'm so sorry. Whew. So, Spirit, how were you connected to Group 2? How was this loved one connected to you, Group 2? Okay, we got the King of Cups, we got the Eight of Swords, and we got the King of Wands. Whew. This was a father or a grandfather. Or someone who had a very strong nature about them. Oh, okay, I see. This was someone who hated injustice. They absolutely hated injustice, and they championed you. Um, if anybody ever did anything that hurt you, they were there. They were right there to fight a battle for you. Um, they always believed that you deserved the best, whatever you wanted. Um, and they would fight for that for you. Um, they even got kind of fiery if there was anyone who who crossed that or denied that. I mean, even if it was like your parent, they would argue for you. Um, and this may not have been a grandfather. I don't know. With the two kings, that definitely is a possibility that this was a strong male figure. But I'm also getting just a very protective energy from this. Um, yeah, this was just somebody who was really a protector for you. They would go to battle for you, and sometimes it was almost like too much. They were like just quick to jump to your defense. They were flashy about it. They were just very strong-willed about protecting you. They basically thought you could do no wrong. They just just loved you and just incredibly. And they just were your protector. They were genuinely your protector. Thank you, Spirit, for that. What was most important in this connection? This may be what was important to you, Group 2. This may be what was important to your loved one. This may be what was important to both of you. But what was most important in this connection? That's too many. What was most important in this connection? Okay. So we got the Temperance, we got the Fool, and we got the Nine of Cups. You guys were adventurers together. You may not have actually gone on adventures, but you would tell stories. You love to get together and tell like war stories. And I don't necessarily mean like the actual war, but like if there was something that happened to you that was crazy, you were out with your friends and this crazy thing happened to you that you guys had to, it was almost got in a car wreck, or had to fight your way out of a situation, or whatever it was, you both, and you would trade back and forth. You would tell this loved one something like that, and then they would trade you back with stories of, well, when I was a kid, or when I was in my 20s, and or whatever, and I did this, and this happened, and this, and you guys loved to get together and tell these stories back and forth. It just connected you so tightly. You guys had these, even though you're generations apart from each other, you had these stories that at the heart of it were so similar. I mean, it was a different situation, a different time, but the actions and the attitudes and the emotions and the fight that you guys had in you, the adventures that you undertook, really connected you. There was this huge connection, and that's what was really important to the two of you, that you had this connection where you could just entertain each other and just connect so deeply with your stories. And you love to tell each other stories. You could be in each other's company for hours and hours and never get tired of trading stories back and forth. So, loved one, departed loved one, is there anything that you would have changed about your relationship, or would emphasize now about the relationship with your loved one here? Anything that you would have changed, or that you would like to emphasize to them? All right. So we got the Lovers, we got the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, this is the Page of Swords. We got the Page of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Seven of Wands, and the Magician. Well, it's interesting because these three cards, the Magician, the Seven of Wands, and the Page of Swords, are playing upon the energy of strength, of conquest. Um, they're really proud of you for the strength that you exhibit, and the way you take charge of your life, and the way you don't back away from any situation. But by the same token, here with the Lovers and the Knight of Pentacles, they want you to settle down. Um, or maybe they wish that that's what it is. They wish that they had settled down. They loved, that's what this is. They loved this connection that you guys had, and they loved all the stories that you told each other, but they wish that this energy of confrontation, of bucking authority, they wish that that energy was a little bit settled down, that they had a little bit more groundedness in their life, that they weren't so bound up with the energy of conquest, of fight, of excitement, of because they feel like that this addiction that we talked about back here, they feel like that may not have been so severe in their life had they had more stability, had they had someone that they loved in their life, had they had you know a, a place that they were proud of, a life that they were proud of. Um, they don't want to discount the fact that they had this connection with you, and they loved, again, they loved all of the energy in the stories that you shared with each other. But they they regret that they got too caught up, and put too much importance maybe on that energy as a lifestyle rather than just, sowing your wild oats when you were younger. They wish that they had settled down, because they feel like their life may have been more fulfilled. They may not have had this addiction problem. They might not have been so sad in their life had they settled down, found someone that they loved, and created a life with them. So that's what they would like to emphasize or change, um, about their life, that they want you to know. Spirit, thank you so much for that message. Is there any final message that you would like to give to your loved one? A final message that you would like to pass along to your loved one? Final message for your loved one. Yeah. um, we got the moon card and we got the two of swords. So the final message that they want to give you is that there's something that you're not seeing. And I think that they're going back to this energy of, the conquest, the adventure. All of that is great when you're young. It builds character, but they want you to realize that there's another path. Here, you've got the two swords, the decision that you can make, and here you've got the two columns. And so there, this is a cautionary tale. This is a cautionary message. They're saying don't get caught up in this energy of always having to prove yourself, of always having to be the strongest, of always having to be in control of everyone else, of always having to push people away if they didn't do exactly what you wanted them to do, of always fighting. They want you to understand that right now you're at a crossroads in your life. You're at a place where you're going to have to choose which way you're going to go. And both of these cards are about not being able to see what's ahead. So you can't know what's ahead for you. You there's no way to see that. You can't know what the future's going to bring. But what they're saying is that the they have their own life to look back on, and they see what happened in their situation. And so even though you can't necessarily see what's coming up in your life or what's ahead for you, they can look back and see where their life went. And they just want you to know that you have this choice right now. You have the choice in your life to take one path or take the other. And they don't want you to miss out on having someone who loves you, having a stable life with someone who loves you, and having just stability. They want you to have that stability. There's a lot of healing in having stability in your life, and it doesn't mean that you can't go after your dream. They just want you to look at this confrontational nature, or this throw caution to the wind kind of nature. And it's not that you need to be cautious or you need to be fearful in your life. That's not it at all. But they want you to understand that if you're always fighting against everything in your life, if you think everything's going to be a fight, if you always feel like you have to end up on top, you've always got to be the biggest dog on the hill, that you're probably going to end up much like they did, with addiction problems, with loneliness, with depression, with guilt, with grief. So they want you to know that you're at this point in your life now where you can make a decision. You've got two paths. So they just want you to be aware of that. They're not telling you which path to take. They're just saying that there are two paths. So just remember that you don't have to keep going the way you're going now. You can choose another path. Even if you don't know what that's going to look like. Sometimes that can be kind of frightening. She's blindfolded. She doesn't know what's going to happen. So even though you may not know what's ahead, you can still take the other path. and they just want you to know that they're behind you. They're standing here with you. They still love what you shared together, but it might be time now to look at the other path. So let's take a look at the oracle card that we pulled ahead of time, and we got rainbow blessings. So let's take a look at the book and see what the deeper message for rainbow blessings is. Okay. A rainbow is created by a collaboration of sunlight and water in the atmosphere. The water droplets become tiny prisms that collectively diffuse and disperse light into a ribbon of colors that is the essence of every hue we're capable of perceiving on this planet. Rainbows symbolize many things, including good luck, a bridge to heaven, and abundance. It's difficult for any of us to ignore the majesty of a rainbow and the gentle power inherent in its display. It's such a simple blending of the elements coming together in perfect visual harmony to create one of the most beautiful sights in all of creation. Although there are diverse meanings attributed to the sight of a rainbow, a common thread is that it offers blessings. The artist of this image created this rainbow to commemorate a friend who had just died. She worked on it whenever she felt her love and appreciation for her friend, the blessings he brought to the world and to her life, often after a spell of tearful grief. The storm has passed, and it is time to enjoy the refreshing beauty of this cycle, even though it's been difficult to appreciate any sense of purposefulness in what you have endured lately. You can now, as they say, count your blessings. Do not just look at the brighter side, adhering to some academic mantra that has no heart or depth, but do so slowly and with genuine gratitude that is expressed up close and personal. This ever-evolving process of life itself is a blessing, an opportunity to exist as a human being on Earth. The planet is a beautiful garden, even if it does not always appear to be so. Sometimes it is only when you look back at a memory of an experience that you can truly see the blessings that have come from them. Bless your difficult or painful experiences and let them go. So, perhaps a message to let go of this energy of always needing to win, being confrontational, not being vulnerable. So this is the reading that I have for you today. I hope it's been helpful. I greatly appreciate your being here with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Hi, Group 3. This is your reading, the Rutilated Clear Quartz. The first message that we would like to get from Spirit is who is coming through for you today? Who is it? Who is coming through for Group 3, please? One more shuffle. Okay, Spirit, who is coming through, please, for Group 3? So we got the Page of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. This was an individual who always had lots and lots and lots of good ideas, but they rarely followed through with them. The ideas that they had, even though they may not have realized this, were generally an effort to connect with other people. They may not even have been aware that that was the case, but all of these different ideas that they had were a way for them to get connected with other people. They would have these great ideas, and they would bring their ideas to people, and they would get everybody excited about these ideas. Um, but because the primary reason for their ideas was this connection, once they made the connection with other individuals, oftentimes they lost interest in the idea. So, and again, they may not have even realized this. They probably didn't. Um, so they kind of seemed like somebody who was just sort of flighty and never followed through with anything. But in all actuality, they were achieving their purpose. They wanted to connect with other individuals, and by having lots of, and they were good ideas, they were exciting ideas, they were interesting ideas, they were ideas that actually got people thinking and interacting with each other. Um, but that's who this person was. It was someone who had all these ideas, but they rarely ever did anything with them, or they didn't follow through to completion on a lot of the ideas that they had, pretty much all of them. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. And how, Spirit, were you connected to group 3? How was this spirit connected to group 3? How was this loved one connected to you? I feel like we've got a card in here that's, yeah, we do. Okay, how was this, how were you connected to group 3, please? How were you connected to group 3, Spirit? Yeah. Okay. Um, group 3, you were the individual who tried to help this person get their ideas off the ground. You were the person who provided um, stability and backing for this. You were the one who sort of reined things in so they made more sense, and you were the one who actually took action for this individual, for their ideas. You were somebody who was always there, standing behind them, trying to help them get these ideas off the ground, trying to make the ideas work, is basically who you were to this person. Spirit, thank you for that message. And what was most important about this connection? Might be what was most important to the departed. It might be what was most important to you, group 3. It may be what was most important to both of you. But what was most important about this connection? Okay. Oh my goodness. We got the Tower and the Temperance. The Tower and the Temperance card. So what was most important about this connection was you kept each other balanced. One of you was patience and trying to get things kind of slowed down so that they made sense and they didn't completely go off the rails. And the other one was the idea person. Obviously, you know, this individual who's passed on. They were the idea person. They were the one that came up with crazy wild ideas and just you know, always going, and wanting to make things move and happen right now. And you were the person who kept them grounded, who kept them balanced, who kept everything sort of evened out. And that was important to both of you because neither of you would have really functioned very well without the other. You know, this individual, the individual who's passed on, your passed on loved one, they would have just been all over the map without you. And you probably would have just been bored your whole life without them. So the two of you had this synergy that kept each other in line, that you kept things balanced. You sort of were both, each of you was an extreme, but when you came together, it kind of pulled things toward the middle, and it made it possible for this relationship to work and also for your lives to be enriched because of this. So that's what was important to both of you, actually. Um, is there anything, Spirit, that you would have changed about your life together, about your life, or anything that you'd like to emphasize to your loved one in group 3? Anything you would have changed, um, or anything that you would like to emphasize to your loved one in group 3? That's too many. Anything that you would have changed or would like to emphasize? Okay. Yeah, we got the 10 of Cups. We got the Ace of Swords, the Emperor, and the 3 of Cups. Your friend was kind of a bit of a card. Kind of a joker, perhaps. First of all, they would have liked to have changed that they were kind of self-centered. They feel like they got so wrapped up in their own process that sometimes didn't they didn't give you the credit that you deserve. They didn't see your part in things. They didn't value your part, your input, your stability. They didn't value you as much as they should have. Sometimes they were kind of short with you, but they were kind of short with everybody. Sometimes they would get going on a roll. They'd get on a roll, and if anybody, tried to slow them down or intercede or even interact with them, they could get kind of snappy. They could get kind of sharp-tongued. So those are a couple things that they wish that they could have changed. They would have changed, but they loved. I keep hearing partying with you. I feel like you guys took these ideas and just ran with them and just had such a good time together. Even if they never got done, even if nothing ever got done, your life was just constantly this just exciting flair, this exciting, it was always new. It was always something new, and it was always a challenge. It was always, trying to make this amazing cool thing happen. It was, a lot of the ideas that you had were just crazy. They were crazy, but it was so much fun trying to make them happen. And they absolutely want to emphasize that they loved. Again, I'm hearing partying with you. They considered it a party. They considered their whole life a party. And you helped them make it that way. So that's what they would have changed, and that's what they want to emphasize. So, Spirit, do you have any final message for your loved one? Departed loved one, do you have any final message for your loved one here in group 3, please? Final message for your loved one for this reading. Okay, we got the Knight of Swords. We got the King of Cups. We got the 7 of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the 8 of Wands. Well, initially, they want you to keep on keeping on. They want you to keep moving. They want you to keep. I'm hearing chasing windmills. They want you to keep up the tradition of these great crazy ideas, even if you don't actually pursue them. They just loved the excitement that it created in your life together, in your lives together, and they want you to not lose that. They want you to keep that up. They want you to. They're afraid that you are really missing them, and that you're isolating yourself because of it. They fear that you are just sort of in limbo. They feel like you are just kind of stepped out of life right now because they're gone. And that you are cutting off communication with a lot of people who love you. That you're just kind of, I mean, I'm really getting this deep feeling of not being able to be a part of society right now for you, group 3. Um, and they absolutely, we got the King of Cups, which is kind of the master of emotions. So they want you to heal. Um, and I'm going to need to get more clarification because I'm not sure how they want you to do that. I'm not sure how they see that for you, but they definitely want you to heal your emotions. This is a huge message from them. They really fear that you are just stepping out of your life, that you are just removed, that you can't tolerate being around anybody or doing anything, that you're just in this energy of grief. And they really want you to heal your emotions. Spirit, do you have a suggestion on how your loved one can do that? Okay, well, there's a lot of things coming out here. Spirit, that's a little too much. Okay. We got the Two of Swords and we got the Ace of Pentacles. They want you just to make the choice to do it. Just plain and simple. Just I'm hearing man up. They just want you just make the decision to get out of this energy of being stuck. Yeah. Get out of the energy of being stuck. The Ace of Pentacles. Stop being stuck. Start something new. Start building something new. Make this decision. The Two of Swords is about making a decision, even though you can't see what the outcome is going to be. They just want you. They're just saying quit. They're just saying stop wallowing in this energy. I hate this. I hate saying this. This is, and I don't mean to be harsh. This is just what I'm hearing from them. And I think this is just who they were. Spirit, any other advice for your loved one here? Yeah, okay, we got the Two of Pentacles. So they're just saying that you're really, really out of balance. They know, they're admitting that they know that this is hard for you. They know that this is really hard. But you're getting way too far over on the side of being isolated and not wanting to reach out and being in sadness. So they're just asking you to please balance this out. And and this is what this is about. This card of, keep on keeping on. They want you, this is how they want you to get out of this energy. They want you to take some of these crazy ideas, whether it's your own crazy ideas or some of the ones that you worked on with them. And I think that that's what this is about. I think this is some of the ideas that you worked on together. They want you to rekindle that. They want you to bring it back to life and make something of it. And by doing that, oh yes. This is them. This is them. They're bringing these ideas to you in your dreams. They're bringing you ideas in your dreams, and they want you to take those ideas and run with them. They want you to actually bring this idea, the ideas that they're bringing you, they want you to actually bring those to fruition. They want you to get there this time. They knew that they didn't have it to get to the end because they were so flighty, they were so crazy, they always had to have something new. But they know that you can do it. They know that you can do this. Oh my God, this is wonderful. So they're telling you, they are talking to you in your dreams. They are bringing you these, oh my God, this is so amazing. They are bringing you these ideas in your dreams. And they want you to run with them. They want you to create something magical. Whew. What a cool individual this was. Let's take a look at your oracle card. Oh my goodness. You got Eagle, Communion. We've got the Raven here, and here we've got the Eagle. Eagle is higher wisdom. Again, the higher self, the higher being. the dream life, the dream environment. Let's take a look and see what the book says about this particular card. Eagle. Communion. Here, the man and the eagle make contact through their eyes and spirits. The man has performed a ceremonial calling to Eagle Brother, who now comes to him as a familiar friend. It is an intimate relationship between human being and feathered being, one of both spirit and flesh. Your friend is coming to you as a feathered being, so maybe he's going to appear as a bird in your dreams. So if there's a bird in your dreams and there's some action or something around them, pay attention to that. That might be a message. Yet it is ultimately this deep spiritual kinship that connects them, formed from their recognition of the sacredness of this bond. Eagle spirit is often associated with the highest and noblest, encouraging us to let our spirits soar. Through this communion, we know that we can touch the sky. We know that we can be more than just two-legged creatures clinging to the ground. We're intimately related to all of life on the planet, and it's through communing with any expression of life that we realize how vitally connected we all are. Whenever you experience a heartfelt communion with some physical expression of life, plant, animal, human, or anything else, it is only then that you can truly feel how your life force is similar to the life force that is all around you. It is only a matter of the differences in form. And essence is articulated into the physical world in a multitude of ways that is the same in everything and everyone, although it manifests in various shapes and characteristics. This essence is spirit emanating from the core of all things. Communion with nature is essential for you now. Take some time to do an open-eyed meditation with any nearby animal or plant. Relax your body as much as possible, breathe consciously, and keep your attention on the life form you are communicating with. After a few moments, you will notice a sense of the boundaries dissolving, a melding of the I and thou. You may even receive messages or impressions as you find yourself in the flow of unspoken communication. So this may be also a message from your loved one in how to move past this grief that you may be existing in right now, communing with nature, going out and doing a walking meditation in nature, or just focusing on an object. It could be a plant, it could be an animal, it could be a crystal. So take that time to connect with something outside of yourself, because when we're grieving, oftentimes we are really, really locked inside of ourselves, inside of our broken heart. So put yourself in a position, in a place, and really focus outside of yourself. Pick one thing that's beautiful, pick one thing that's meaningful, and focus on that, and try and actually communicate with whatever that is. And that doesn't necessarily mean talking to it. That can mean just understanding what it's like to be that thing. So take that time. That'll help to pull you out of yourself, help to pull you out of your grief. This is an amazing friend that you had. It sounds like you guys had some amazing adventures. And your friend wants you to continue that legacy, but make it even better. So I hope that this reading has been helpful to you, and I'm really grateful that you were here with me. And I hope that I'll see you again very soon. Thank you.